Okay, so we have 4 people online. Hey everyone. We will just take a few more minutes just to let everyone arrive. This is the first time that I and the Global Purpose Movement have used this platform, Amplifield. So it's a new experience for me, a new experience for us. It's quite cool. Carly, who I work with, who I had the great pleasure of working with, just made the point that some people might need to make Amplifield accounts. Okay. So, can I ask the question? Someone on this call who isn't Carly and who hadn't used Amplifield before, can you tell me? Just put in the discuss and chat box whether you had to put together an Amplifield account. That would just be helpful and give us a sense of whether we need to wait for people to arrive having put together Amplifield accounts. Okay. Yeah, if Carly has helped me out there. If they're on here, they've had to make an account. Thank you, Carly. Carly is one of the awesome group of people that I have the great privilege to work with the Global Purpose Movement. Yes, first time using Amplifield. Thank you, Tina. I needed to arrange an account. Okay, cool. So we'll just take a couple of minutes more. Yeah, we'll take a couple of minutes more to let people sort out their Amplifield accounts and come on to the call. Nice. Thank you, Carly. So we'll just give it another minute or so, and then we'll start diving in. So maybe as people have arrived, for those who have arrived, I'd love it if you could just put your name into the onto the right hand side. We have the discuss and chat box. Thank you, Erica. Carly and Tina have also put in their names. Anyone else who's here, I'd love it just to, if you could put your name in, just say hello, get a sense of who's here, that would be great. Thank you. Usha. Hey, Usha. Good to have you here. Hey, Erin. Good to have you here. Good to have you with us. Okay. So let's begin. Okay. So I expect that some other folks may join as we continue. This is a new platform for all of us. I'll just say quickly, EJB, hey, welcome. Just say quickly, this is a platform built by a good friend of mine and ours, a guy called Todd Jason and his team. They have a strong desire that Amplifield can serve as a platform for conscious events to bring, quote, a ridiculous level of love into the world, which I think is perfectly in keeping with the transformational keynote of this call. So I'm really grateful to Todd for giving us the opportunity to be one of the first groups and events working with this platform. And I understand he hopes he can bring in about 1 million people onto the platform in the next year, so that the community of people around the world who are accessing this type of material and who are engaging in transformational work to serve their increasingly conscious and impactful engagement with the world can just continue to increase. So with that, I'm happy to begin to jump into the material for today. So this is the Presence, Purpose and Passion intro call. So I am going to be running a 5-week online course beginning on June the 11th, focusing on these topics of presence, purpose and passion. So just to give you a little bit of background on myself, for those of you who don't know me, my name is John Darrell Rue. I work with a project called the Global Purpose Movement. It's one of it's an awesome project that I've been working with for the last kind of year and a half, and it's one of a number of projects I've been working with for the last 6 years or so, all of which are in the same arena, and that arena is to do with the contribution of consciousness and awakening to social transformation, to the updating of our individual lives and our collective lives in a manner that can support the updates in our society, that can allow more and more human beings to live lives of safety, connection, flourishing, satisfaction, fulfillment, love. So I am passionate, deeply passionate about social transformation based on spiritual principles of the flooding out of the wisdom and the technologies of awakening and growth and consciousness that have been cultivated by the different wisdom traditions and communities of practice around the world over thousands of years. They're flooding out into supporting social transformation, social evolution, collective evolution, individual transformation, so that we can continue to evolve our world in support of everyone. So that's my purpose. And this call is an expression of that. The material that I'm up for sharing here and being in an exploration of with you guys comes out of the work that I've been doing over the last 6 years or so, where it's been my experience, it's been the experience of the awesome people that I've had the opportunity to work with, that these factors of presence, purpose, and passion are really key to individuals such as yourselves, to myself, to anyone who seeks to find their way into making their contribution to the global change process, to participating in the global change process in a way that has sustainable fuel to it. And what I mean by sustainable fuel is that it's built on inspiration and passion, and that it is not coming from a place. I think in my experience, there's a lot of people in the world today whose hearts and minds are open enough to really feel the call to contribute to and participate in collective change on local levels, on national levels, and in terms of their day-to-day lives, and they can feel and see what's going on in the world today, and sometimes it's heartbreaking. Sometimes it's deeply challenging. We see the suffering of our fellow human beings and non-humans, animals, plants, forests all over the world, and it can feel like a lot, and it is a lot. It is a lot. So part of my passion and my calling is to support people to find their way into being able to make their contribution to the global change process from a place that's inspired and enlivened and awake, and is fun, and where they are expressing themselves in such a way that brings them incredible fulfillment, to the point where they get to a point where they just couldn't choose to do anything else. And their passion and their enthusiasm becomes the currency of what they're contributing to the world. So that's a bit of background about what we're here to explore today. So in terms of the format of this call today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take us through spending about we're going to have an hour call today. So this is just a taste. It's just a taste of what we're going to be going into in the course, but we're going to be spending a little bit of time on presence, what I mean by that, how that contributes to and why that's important for this topic. Same with purpose, and then same with passion. And then I'm going to give just a little bit of further information about the course, the 5-week course. I'll be giving the link to it, and we also have a discount code available today. So there's a reduction if people are interested to purchase their place on the course over the next 24 hours. So I'll be communicating that as well, and opening the space for any questions that people might have. So with that, I'll just take a moment to self-connect, and I invite everyone else to do the same. Just take a moment, take a deep breath in. And let it go. Okay. So connecting into our own presence there. So presence. What do I mean by presence, and why is this important in terms of global change and participating in global change? So by presence, I mean that space, that deepest but yet ever-present space of our own heart, where our true nature is indivisibly one with the entirety of all creation. So this is the core reality of our being, which has been pointed to by the spiritual traditions over millennia. They've had different roads of accessing it, but whether they speak about God, or they speak about Allah, Brahman, Shiva, Shakti, Dharmakaya, Tao, whatever word they give to this reality, whatever name they put to it, I'm firmly of the sense that this is the same reality, and it has been the core awakening, the core recognition of practitioners within these traditions, of people who've engaged their meditative or prayerful or contemplative practices, relational practices sometimes as well, and gone deeply enough with those that there is an awakening, an illumination, an opening that happens at a certain point, maybe very quickly. And there is a spark, an illumination, an opening to the recognition that what I am, what you are, what all of this is God, is an infinite awake presence, breathing, knowing, expressing itself through everything. And that it is totally free, it totally transcends the entirety of all creation, and it is simultaneously intimate with the entirety of all creation. Deeply, sweetly intimate. And as a human being awakens to this reality, they connect to authentic freedom and intimacy with the entirety of creation, so that there are no enemies. One is utterly free from the entirety of what is arising and what is going on in this amazing and beautiful and wild and crazy world, and simultaneously intimately connected, intimately one with, in fact, radically one with all of it. And the one that is one with it all, John has gone, Erin has opened, Usha has opened, Erica has opened, Carly has opened, Tina has opened, EBJ has opened, and there is just a space of infinite consciousness and presence and light knowing itself through everything. And it is innately known. This is the ground. This is the ultimate reality that's breathing and knowing itself through everything. So, like I say, all of the different traditions, we're going to explore some practice with this just in a moment, just to give you a taste. But all of the different traditions that are about awakening to this one absolute radical interconnected reality, this is where they go. I've spent a long time with these traditions. I've been in passionate study and practice of them for about, must be about 25 years of my life now. And they generally take one of three orientations. So when we do global purpose movement events now, we explore these three orientations, and in the events I've done in the past, I explore them as well. So some traditions open to presence through exploring consciousness. Some traditions, so for instance, Buddhism is one of those, or Vedanta Hinduism is another of those. Taoism is one of those in some aspects of its practice. Some traditions open to this reality through the heart. Mystical Christianity is one of these, where there's a prayerful engagement of relationship with God that opens through the heart so deeply, more and more and more, so that the big distance between this heart and God just dissolves and dissolves and dissolves until there is simply the flood of love and God's will moving through a being in the world. Sufism, which is like the mystical core of Islam, engages the same path. Kabbalistic Judaism also will go through the heart door, we could say. And some traditions go through the body. Some go through the body through working with subtle energies, chakras, some with sexual energy also, as the basis to open up this reality. So there are different doorways, we could say, to presence. And the gift here, just before we engage, we go into a practice exploration. The gift of presence in terms of really being able to participate in the global change process is sanity, in my opinion. Authentic freedom, intimacy with everything that's here, no enemies, no opposition to anything, and sanity. My experience is that for those of us whose hearts are opening more and more deeply to participate and contribute to the world that we're a part of, and seeking to help, to be in contact with what's here, with the real suffering and joys and trials of human beings in this world, and animals and the vegetable kingdom, the plants as well. That takes us deeply into some challenging spaces that will break our hearts. They will open our hearts and they will break our hearts. And my experience is the more deeply we want to go there, the more important it is that we also have access to authentic freedom, and that can be the basis of our sanity to then engage fully, to give ourselves fully to the world, and to bring our purpose online, which we'll go into in a minute, passionately as we move into expressing ourselves in the world. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to take a few minutes now where we just explore presence. And I would like to invite us to just be in a process of guided meditation. I'll guide us through a practice, just a short practice that's going to be focused on exploring this awakening in consciousness. As I said before, some traditions do it in consciousness, some through the heart, some through the body. I'm going to focus on consciousness today, because actually sometimes this can be the most radical and immediate, because there's the recognition, for the traditions that teach us to awaken through consciousness. Their core transmission is that this reality is always already here. That this infinite awake presence is actually that which is already the one looking out of our own eyes right now. And that it isn't some far off transcendent awakening. It's here. It is the basis of it is simply this awareness which is present right here, right now, which has never changed actually, which has always been here. The awareness that is allowing you to simply be aware of your computer screen right now. Okay. So, I'd like to invite you to begin by positioning your body into a relaxed and yet alert posture. A posture that allows you to feel comfortable and yet present. It can be on the floor, it can be in a chair. Straight back. And let your mind and your emotions and your body relax. And your mind and your emotions and your body will relax if you just let them be as they are. Don't try and change them. Don't try and solve anything. Just let them be as they are. And this is a meditation that can be done with eyes open or eyes closed. So I'll let you decide what feels comfortable for you. So bring your attention to your breath and allow it to be relaxed and rhythmic. Make sure you're breathing down into your belly, not just high up into the chest. And just letting your mind, your emotions and body relax, as I say, in an open and easy way. You don't have to stop anything. You don't have to make anything happen. Nothing is required right now. So just listen to this pointing out instruction. This is the kind of pointing out instruction that is used in the Indian tradition, the Tibetan tradition. So awakening to the presence that we are happens when we can learn to recognize the difference between the simple presence of consciousness and what is happening in consciousness. So just begin to use your attention now and focus it on the simple presence of your own aware consciousness. Nothing transcendent, nothing otherworldly, just the ordinary consciousness which is here right now. Look into the one who is looking. See if you find a self or simply conscious presence. Stay with your attention on and with this awareness of your basic conscious presence. Just stay there with your attention. If you do this for some time, at a certain point you may experience a shift. And instead of experiencing yourself as a being who has consciousness, you are infinite, endless, centerless consciousness and presence. That is the radiant space in which the whole world is arising as an expression of itself. So just stay with your attention, just stay with the basic, ordinary consciousness which is right here, right now. Just look at that with your attention. Shine the flashlight of your attention on this ordinary presence of awareness. And see if there might be a shift at a certain point into this expansive, open presence. So now, having used your attention to look at your own basic aware presence, just drop the focus of your attention on anything and simply rest. Simply be. Do not fixate or focus your attention on anything. See if you can let go so as to not have any topic in mind or attempt to make your mind empty. Don't follow or deliberately explore anything, and also do not attempt to change anything. No focus of attention and no distraction. Simply leave your experience as it is, without any effort to maintain or stop anything. This might sound like a strange and paradoxical instruction. It is its own kind of meditation. Most essentially put, it's simply letting everything be as it is. So without following anything with your attention, trying to stop anything or keep anything, just rest and let everything be as it is. So this is the non-meditation of the Tibetan traditions. It's the Shikantaza of Zen, the meditation without activity of Kashmir Shaivism and Hindu Vedanta. And what is found is that when there's no effort or concept holding our mind, when there's no fixation of the mind or attention on anything, the true nature of the consciousness which is here right now opens itself and shows itself as this infinite awake presence. So this is it's a type of awakening which can be radical and immediate. It doesn't require any practice before to open necessarily. It's also something we can go increasingly deep with. But I'm just going to invite us, because of the short amount of time that we're spending just giving a taste of this today, for everyone to close this meditation now by just taking a deep breath in and letting it go. And feeling comfortable to stretch out your body, open your eyes if they were closed. So I'm not sure the spectrum of experience that people will have had during this time, but it's just to give you a taste that there can be an opening through such practices as these, and ones also that focus on the heart and others that focus on the body, to a depth of our own being that is always free, that is transcendently one with everything and intimate in the most sweet and profound way with all of creation. And in the throes and the trials and the challenges of our daily lives, where all of us have got difficult stuff that happens at times and challenging stuff that happens at times, because that's part of the game. In my experience, being able to connect to the authentic freedom, the innocence, and the radiance and the infinity of my true nature as this reality has been invaluable, particularly in situations, I mean, I can say a little bit about my own personal experience, both as I've been engaging my purpose in the world and also when life has been really tough. And I had a year in 2015 with some intense health challenges where it was chronic pain for over a year, and one serious health challenge where I had to have an operation in which it was not clear whether I would necessarily live. And to be able to connect to a depth of my own being that was always free, always intimate with the entirety of creation, and without any doubt in the essential goodness of all reality, was hugely liberating, supportive, calming for my nervous system, and allowed me to show up in that experience with more presence and openness and willingness to receive the lessons that life was seeking to bring me there. And that's how it is with our purpose work as well. So I want to just transition into that, speaking about purpose. And then we'll do a little bit of practice around, just a short practice around purpose as well. So my experience is there's different levels of purpose. I've done a lot of purpose work with people over the last 6 years or so. For me, this is the missing piece. In a lot of projects and people's efforts to bridge consciousness and action, presence and impact in the world, the missing piece is purpose. Because it's only when we connect to the fire of our own passion and inspiration to express and share who we are in a way that can contribute to the world, to express that place in our being where that which turns us on most and our greatest contribution to the whole are one. Until we find that, often we're looking for other people to tell us what to do. That often happens. Or we, and that can range from people just in employment situations where they're just, they're playing a role for a wider organization, and that's absolutely a part of the way the world needs to work in various ways. And it can be so liberating when our effort and the effort that the impulse that's moving through us, the inspiration that's moving through us, is connected to a source of inspiration and movement, which is part of the work that we're doing more broadly. So, for instance, in my work, I have the opportunity to work with the Global Purpose Movement, and I know that that's a sphere, it's a space where the instinct of my heart, the life force that's seeking through my inspiration and purpose, has a space to express in collaboration with people who are moved in the same way and yet also in slightly different ways. So that the creativity that we hold together is something that is super generative and fun and exciting and I know that for everyone on this call, there will be different areas. That this is the unique area of our lives. Whilst the presence area is connecting to that which is the same through everything. The core presence at the base of my heart is no different from that of any of you, and what's vibrating in the cells of every body on this planet, or in the leaves and the trees and in the earth. But purpose is where we get unique. Purpose is where there's a particular stream of that presence which is seeking to move through your life in a way that has never happened before and never will again. That there is a unique celebration of creativity that is seeking to be born and to live and to fulfill itself through your heart, your body, and your life, that's never happened before and will never be repeated, and it's yours. And at the same time, it's your calling to open to being moved by it and allowing it to guide us, allowing it to guide you, allowing it to guide me. So I make the distinction. I suggest like there's different levels of purpose. This can be helpful to get a sense of. So at the level of our personality, our kind of embodied self, our mental, emotional, and physical kind of level, everyday engagement with the world level, often we can talk about ambition. Purpose here expresses in the form of ambition. So, people, all of us have had periods of our lives where we have a strong sense of ambition. I want to achieve this, whatever it might be. It might be going to this school or university, or it might be getting this job, or it might be buying this car, or often it expresses itself in some kind of material kind of ideal. But then at the level of soul, deeper than personality, at the level of soul, we have calling. What is our calling? And generally that will express itself, it will emerge from whatever the kind of dynamite in our lives is that has us move into a sense of our own path as a journeying being, as a journeying spiritual being, often. And that will be a place where there's an awakening and an opening of our heart that starts to happen, and there's an impulse to give, to express ourselves in a manner that gives back. And it's where our calling and the opportunity to give something, to share ourselves in a way that serves in the world, are one. But then I like to say that there's a deeper level still, and that's purpose at the level of spirit. And at the level of spirit, we are the life force, we are the breath of this one absolute infinite presence. And when we connect to this level of purpose, it's simply an exhilarating drive and exuberant, blissful, powerful movement of being. It is simply it's the beating of the one's heart moving uniquely through your life in a way that isn't seeking to avoid or necessarily is not necessarily tied to changing anything. It's the exhilarating pulse of the one as it's moving through your heart. And it feels good, pretty good. So, but being able to uncover these different levels of our purpose is something that takes time. This is really, and this is the deep inner work. It's the deep inner work to integrate our being, to bring the different parts of our being together physically, emotionally, mentally, in our soul, in this level of ourselves as a journeying being through this life, to be able to bring that all together and to increasingly open to the pulse of the life force of this presence to move through us and to allow us to connect to our purpose and express it in a manner that can have impact in the world and simultaneously be deeply fulfilling, enlivening and awakening to us, and that we can share in with others. So I just want to take the next kind of just a little bit of time now in practice, just again to get a little bit of a taste of this, to get a little bit of taste of purpose. So again, taking a deep breath, letting it go. And this time with eyes closed, I'd like to invite everyone again to come into meditation, to quietness, to inner quietness. And to allow again your minds, your emotions, and your bodies just to rest. And I'm just going to take us through a guided contemplation here. So I'd like you to begin by just remembering the points in your life where you have been inspired by an ambition to achieve whatever it was. Maybe it was, as I say, a particular job or some particular achievement, some goal. And feel the way purpose was present for you as you felt inspired to try and achieve this goal, this ambition. Okay, so now let's see if we can go a bit deeper. Bring your attention to your own body and to your own heart space, and just rest your attention, just park your attention in your own heart space, and space around your heart. And from that place, begin to contemplate your connection to purpose in terms of a calling. Is there a calling that is wanting to emerge for you in your life, that has emerged? Some place where you have felt deeply called to give of yourself, to share your inspiration with the world in a way that can serve and that can offer something. This is a sweet and tender and vulnerable place for all of us, and also increasingly over time a place of great strength. And just explore your sense of calling. Just as a support for this contemplation, I'd like you to contemplate 3 questions. And I'd like you to contemplate them with your intuition and your heart. They're not for analysis or mental judgment, but just to ask them into the inner space of your own being. And I'll ask one, and then invite you to do that into your own inner experience, and then the second, and then the third. To just be open to whatever might come back. These can be a support for connecting to your calling and to your purpose at the level of the soul. We'll go much deeper into these in the course. So the first question that I'd like to invite you to just ask into the inner space of your own being: what is my essence? Another way to ask this question: what is the core of my being? So just ask that and see what comes back. So then the second question I'd like to invite you to just ask into the inner space of your own being. What is my blessing? What is the blessing that's mine to share with the world? Just ask this into the inner space of your own being, just intuitively opening to whatever might come through. It might be a simple word, it might be an image. What is my blessing? My gift to the world? Okay, and the third question, what is my mission? Another way to ask this is, what am I here to do? What is my mission? What am I here for? Just intuitively receiving whatever's there. Whatever it may be. Okay. So just closing this meditation by taking a deep breath in and releasing it. And feeling invited to open your eyes when you feel ready. Stretch out your body. So we're coming up to the hour, and I don't want to. I want to respect people's time. So I just want to say, you know, this is the smallest taste of the kind of soul work and deep exploration of our own calling and mission and purpose, blessing and essence that we're going to go deep with in the course, to really uncover the pearl that is every person's individual gift to bring. I am passionate. It turns me on and just really enlivens me to be in contact with and to be supporting other people, to connect to their sense of purpose and passion, to contribute in the global change process in a way where we're all just having a bunch of fun. You know, like we may be coming up against challenges, it may be struggles, there may be struggles at time, but we are feeling the exhilaration of connection to our own purpose and inspiration. And so that's the point of all of this. So what I'd say, just before I invite any questions or comments that people might have, So we're going to be doing a 5-week course. I'm going to be running this 5-week course. It starts on June the 11th and runs through to July 16th. We miss out it's the weekend in the States that's around July 4th or so for the holidays. And we're going to be going deep: presence, purpose, passion. The financial exchange is $125. We've looked to make this accessible financially. And if you are interested to sign up in the next 24 hours, there's a discount code which you can use, which is purpose. So that is purpose with all lowercase letters. I'm just going to put the link to the course in the chat box, so you can go to that link that I've just put in and access it to get more information. I've covered a lot of the information here and in the intro call, but yeah. So now, just in closing, I would like to invite, if anyone has any questions or comments, please feel free to write those in the chat box, and I can do my best to address those. Let me know. Thank you, Erin. My pleasure. Thank you for joining. Usha, will we have recordings of the sessions in case we have to miss one? Absolutely, yes. Thank you, Usha. You will have recordings of the sessions for sure. There will be invited kind of homework between each of the sessions as well. Meditations, contemplations, practices that you can use to go deeper, to be able to really ground the insights and the shifts and the changes that can be opening up for you over the course of the 5 weeks that we'll be doing the course, to really make sure that you get the most sustainable, transformative process out of it as possible. And so certainly, yes, there will be recordings of the sessions in case anyone has to miss one. Tina, thanks a lot for your loving, warm, and inspiring introduction. My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for joining. All good, Usha? Yeah, thank you. I'm excited about it too. I'm always excited about this stuff. All right, this excites me. Erica. Yeah, thank you. My pleasure. Okay, well, seeing as we are coming up to the hour, if there are no more questions, we can call it a day there. I really appreciate everyone having joined. It's a real pleasure for me to have spent this time with you. It's been fun to use this platform. Carly, you are amazing. Thank you so much for always being such an amazing support in all the different aspects of our work together. I really appreciate it. And thank you to all you guys for having joined. I hope to see you on the course. Please feel free to get in touch with me if you have any questions. Let me just put in my email address here, jonathan@synergyforum.org. If you have any questions at all that you'd like to ask, please feel free to just get in touch. And I hope to see some or even all of you there as we would do amazing awakening purpose actualization and exhilarating life exploration and transformation work. So, big love to everyone, and I hope until soon. Much love.